To Bengaluru schools pulled up for omitting Kannada. Karnataka's Education Minister Madhu Bangarappa has issued a firm warning to private schools across the state, making it clear that teaching Kannada is mandatory. It's not an option. Speaking in the Legislative Council, Bangarappa said all private schools, irrespective of board affiliation, must strictly follow the Kannada Language Learning Act 2015. And let me tell you, this came into effect during Bommai's regime. Now, this includes schools affiliated to CBSE, ICSE, IB and IGCSE. The minister flagged that several private institutions continue to ignore government directives. Despite the law being in force since 2017, he added that notices have already been issued, inspections have been intensified, and strict action will follow against schools who are found violating the norms. Listening.
ಶಾಲೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎರಡೇ ಶಾಲೆನ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆನೂ ಕಲಿಸಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮುಚ್ಚಳಿಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರ ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ತೀಕ್ಷ್ಣವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಿರ್ದಾಕ್ಷಿಣ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ತಾವೇನಂತ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಇದಿಷ್ಟೇನಾ ಇನ್ನೂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸೋಫಿಯಾ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕೂಡ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಾನು ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಬಾರ್ದು, ಬಟ್ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ತಮಗೆ 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಳಿಸಿ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವ್ರ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಹೊರಗಡೆಗೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಬೇರೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಈ ಥರ ಆನ್ಗೋಯಿಂಗಾಗಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಆದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಅದನ್ನು ನಿರ್ದಾಕ್ಷಿಣ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಇವೆರಡಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನು ಹಗುರವಾಗಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನು ಕಾಪಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಶಾಲೆ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು 100 ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಆ ಥರ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ,
The warning comes after the Karnataka government took action against 2 private schools in Bengaluru, the Bengaluru International School in Dommasandra and Gear Innovative School in Addodda-Kannahalli for failing to comply with Kannada language requirements. Penalties were imposed as per the Act. Now, responding to a question raised by BJP MLC N. Ravi Kumar, Minister said that Kannada must be taught as either the first or second language and that schools are required to give a written undertaking while renewing recognition. The BJP MLC, however, questioned why action had been taken against only 2 schools, claiming that many CBSE and ICSE institutions barely teach Kannada, leaving students unable to read the language fluently. There are, of course, multiple challenges in this case: a shortage of trained Kannada teachers, curriculum overload in national and international boards, and resistance from schools catering largely to non-Kannada speaking parents. However, questions remain on whether the system has the capacity, both in teachers and curriculum design, to ensure effective Kannada teaching across all boards. To know your mother tongue is a privilege. Let me stick my neck out. You need to. Indian languages are the best for anyone to adapt, and why not? Let me now go across to experts. Satya Prakash, who's Vice Chairperson and spokesperson for the KPCC, is here, and D. Shashikumar, Educationist and General Secretary, CAMS from Karnataka. Thank you, gentlemen. Namaskara to both of you. I want to come to you, Shashi. Why is it such a challenge? And this is not the first time. Let me tell you that even earlier, the CBSE schools and ICSE schools were flouting this. And I have read a lot of academicians who said, experts on education who said, this is a violation of the norm. Why is it that this is not being followed? Of course, there are lots of problems, but I want to ask from you as to where is the problem? Why is it this is being violated?
Sudha, thank you. There are 3 different angles for this issue.
Right.
Number 1, 2015, there was an amendment, and there was a flexibility of 1 in 3 language. That is even either first or second or third. After that, they re-amended it and made it 2 compulsory, that is first and second. And yes, when it was first and second, most of the non-speaking Kannada will have a problem, because migration from different states to these other boards, there is a hiccup. And what is happening is, on the other hand, the parents are also not opting this, and they are trying to violate. If the school want to implement it, the honest school who is implementing is losing the admissions, and the schools who are not using this are getting good admissions, because the parents are coming and asking you, do you teach Kannada? Then I don't want to join here. This is absolutely wrong, because Mr. Education Minister strictly warned about this factor, that if the schools doesn't implement, we will take action. It is right also, because it was mandated. But technically there is an ambiguity between the implementation, because of more and more migrants from other states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, Maharashtra, with these boards, and there is no scope for like a third language, though it is a exception, you can opt it. But first and second is very guaranteed in Karnataka. Either you take first as a English, because most of them have English. Second language, they are supposed to do Kannada. In that sense, their mother tongue will also be a violation. So these parents are in dispute, and they have gone to the Honorable High Court. High Court has given some interim, but the case is not settled. But meanwhile, this is the reason we requested the other board heads in the Delhi, so that you come out with some strategic planning, so that without any hindrance you have to implement. And we are okay with Kannada as a one subject compulsory, but where exactly, whether between two first and second, or between three, that is one. And what is the other outcome if you take up the third language? At least you don't have any examination, and this has to be cleared by those respective boards. How will they give the examination? How will they consider this as a compulsory passing if they are in Karnataka? These things may fix. And one big regret, I would again repeat this, the schools who are not following this, and it is a merry 500 rupees penalty, will nowhere work, so they are happy and they violate it. It should not happen. We have to come out with some concrete solution, so that the government as well as the other boards
Right,
should sit
okay.
together. I repeatedly questioned even CBSE board chair, even ICSE chair.
All right, let
They
me
are
get
not in
Satya.
that.
Yeah, thank you for your opening comments, Shashi, Satya Prakash. I'm not going to fight over why Kannada, why not? Why not Kannada? Absolutely. But the point is that for you to implement it, there are certain things that you'll have to go through. Let's take a larger question. And you've always said that Bengaluru is very welcoming. Karnataka is very welcoming. More and more people come and work here because we give excellent working environment. Now, what Shashi said, what is the way out when these parents say that I'm a Maharashtrian, or I'm a Tamil, or I'm Punjabi, whatever? Why should my child learn Kannada? Although you've also made it compulsory for technical education in many institutes, where the problem is about implementation. By just asking two schools to kind of, suddenly waking up, there has to be a mechanism which monitors regularly, no, Satya?
See, with due regards to those parents who come in between 1 to 10 standard, there is an advantage for them if their children learn Kannada, and I am going to tell them what is the advantage. For Karnataka domicile, for example, a child comes in class 2 or class 3, let us say. She completes 10th standard. Let us see. So she gets 7 years of study certificate in Karnataka, another 2 years in PUC, so another 9 years. There are so many institutes, for example, National Law University treats any student who has studied in Karnataka for a minimum of 7 years to be a domicile of Karnataka. Second thing is, once they learn Kannada, they will be eligible for jobs within the Karnataka government. The period between first standard to 10th standard, the child is so smart that if you just teach him, within 2 to 3 years, they will learn the language. Just understand the advantage that a child from south faces. He learns Hindi compulsorily. So in fact, he can go across the country and he can live. But those coming from northern states have a particular problem when they come down south, because, and this is an excellent opportunity. There is a Bihari family in front of my house. Starting, they face some problem, but today the kid who was first standard, second standard, now she has come to ninth standard. So she used to come to our house. We used to teach her. Today she speaks Kannada, no, more or less okay. She can manage Kannada with an auto wala. She can manage Kannada with a maid. She can manage Kannada with a BMTC conductor. So this is good for them, is all I am saying. But if
You
the,
know,
if
what you told me, it must
the
be
parents are
great.
facing a lot of problems,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
government has to see,
yeah.
there is a
So,
different
you know,
situation,
this
and
girl,
in exceptional cases, can they give the parent language? Is
yeah,
all I can say.
yeah. The girl, the story is lovely, Satya, where she speaks Kannada with you. I mean, I'm all for learning. I speak a couple of Indian languages, also self-taught, because I think learning the language is the best way to know your country, to know their
Here, the
culture.
problem is not with the learning implementation,
Yes,
because
that's what. Let
it
me
is
ask
been
him.
mandated.
Shashi,
Earlier, there was a scope, Sudha, 1, 2, 3 out of 3, the compulsory one, and we have no
yes.
dispute with that. They have to do it, and
Now with
most
there is a two
CBSE school
language. Yeah,
was there.
yeah, yeah.
And when we made it compulsory within 2,
yeah.
then the mother tongue or the medium of, see, forget about that. The mother tongue of the other community or other parent will come in stake, and those parents are in dispute. So, how to implement it within this? That is the challenging task.
Shashi said makes a lot of point. Maybe that Bihari child wanted to learn Kannada. Maybe I want to learn Bengali. But the point is that there are lots of parents who don't see the need to learn it. But now you've made it Kannada mandatory. Why is it that you will not learn? What is your advice for those parents? Those 20 parents have gone to High Court, Satya Prakash. How will you look
I
at
think,
that? And you know, also
I
let me tell you, secondly, Satya, lot of CBSE schools are violating this rule. Left,
And
right,
they
and
are
center.
violating, and they are getting benefit
They're
without any
getting
charge. We
benefits.
have complained on
Absolutely.
that.
How come? And here, if
So,
I'm a
see,
private
at this
school,
point of time, when the
yeah,
minister takes a call on it, some two,
Satya,
three schools, this is not on ground reality.
and
Satya,
Satya, the thing is that
this
if
is not
I
the
flout
truth.
it as a private school, let's say we have Sudha private school in Bengaluru, my renewal will not come through. What is this, Satya Prakash? There cannot be
any
one rule for one person. No, make it
any
mandatory.
decision, any decision of the government or anyone should not be an infringement for the child's right to education. As simple as that. We have only implemented right to education, isn't it? So any government policy should not be infringed on our right for education. Shashi is already saying that case is in the High Court. Let us see what the Honorable High Court says. But what I would suggest is, and I think Shashi can correct me, in state boards, I think it is a three-language policy.
No
That means,
issues at all in state boards and most of the
yeah,
CBSE schools also.
yeah. I'll tell you. There's no problem as far as state boards are there. I think all these students can opt for the state board. That means you can take one, no, English, you can take your mother Hindi as your first or second language, and third language will be Kannada. There's no problem as far as state board
Satya
schools are
Prakash,
there.
sorry to intervene. It is not Hindi. Any other third language, there is a lot of other Sanskrit, English, Kannada also they can take.
Whatever. See, I'm telling if they want their mother tongue, if the North Indians want their mother tongue, they can take Hindi as first language. Second language will be English. Or English first
That
language or second.
provision is not there now. This is the ambiguity.
The whole
Yes, Satya
problem.
Prakash, you got it
You
very
got it
true.
wrong. You know, the two languages, Kannada, English. Now, if my
First and
child,
second, within
first and
that,
second,
whatever you said is right. That option is to be made so that within 3, one is compulsory Kannada, then no issues at all, and Kannada will flourish.
but what about
Even
English?
with the state boards, even with the state boards also
State
second
board, we
language is
don't have
Yes.
Kannada.
any issue. State board, zero issue.
Yeah, see, state boards, there is no issue. See, in state boards, someone can take Sanskrit as first language, someone can take English as second language, third language will be Kannada permanently. So that one Kannada will be there, whether it is for Karnataka students or students coming from outside. The problem, as you are saying, is with respect to ICSE and CBSE. I think you yourself have said it is in front of High Court. I have no authority. If the government is acting as per 2015 Karnataka language policy, I cannot override that policy. And when was it that that they said that the third language should not be taken? When, in which year was that implemented, Mr. Sachin?
2017, they modified it into compulsory within 2. Earlier, it was within 3. they modified it within 2. That was the dispute raised. Till then, there was no issues. But schools, again, they were violating because it is hardly 500 rupees of penalty. They don't do. And parents also want such schools to be chosen so that where Kannada will not be implemented. So this is wrong. Kannada should be taught, and we should see that these parents should not violate in these aspects.
I see, I will once again
And
reiterate,
school management
every
also.
child has a right, every child has a right to education as per RTE Act. And any government policy or anything should not infringe on that right. And the Honorable High Court and our government also will take a decision which is a win-win situation. I think the number of parents will be very, very marginal. Nearly 95-97% of the people are still happy with this. 2 to 3% there is a problem. I think
My
government will
only worry, Satya Prakash ji, my only worry is
You're forgetting.
already we have a
I
constitutional
mean, let me
bench.
also come in here. I think, Shashi, sorry, but let me come in here. First of all, to say that the number of parents are very marginal is not fair. They have a life, they work in your state. So, therefore, you have to listen to what they are saying. Now, Kannada should be compulsory, fine. But there is only option of 2 languages. If you make Kannada compulsory, the other one is English, because Karnataka recognizes that, English is the link language with the world. Tomorrow, if you have to work in the world, you have to go ahead. Whatever Hindi speakers may say, we all have to learn English. That is the language.
I think the schools, what I can say is the school management can sit
But
down with the government again and explain to them the problems.
We
The
have already
government
they
will
all
requested.
say,
understand. No, they all understand the problem. The thing is, Satya Prakash, your government and Mr. Madhu Bangarappa should see to it that it is
we have
implemented
not found
strictly.
those laws.
And even if they are
Yes,
not
Sudha,
if it is not implemented, then what is the way
Sudha,
out? Let me change
Sudha,
tack. Wait a minute. No,
Sudha,
Shashi. Yeah, tell
Sudha,
me,
our
Satya.
government has not implemented these laws. These laws were
Arey bhai,
implemented
I
by
know from
XY
20,
CBSE boards and not
I
our
know,
government.
Bombay, from Bombay's time, but
Sorry, Satya
no,
Prakash.
sorry, Bombay
The
had,
demand of us. It was the demand of us. Every school has to teach at least Kannada one
your
subject. That
government
is,
has said it. Maybe that, wait, Shashi, maybe it was born during Bombay. It was born actually
yes,
even before. The
it
baby
was
was
long back.
born, but you raised the baby. So please don't put all the blame on Bombay sitting,
Yes,
wherever
yes,
he's
yes,
sitting.
yes.
Shashi, let's now change tack and come to the other problem. Is that if Kannada has to be made mandatory, do all the private schools, do all the schools have trained Kannada teachers? A. Number 2,
So
wait, Shashi, with such a curriculum there, social sciences, maths, English, civics, then, also environmental studies, I can go on and on. With such a big bag, they all go, no? Do you think that it's even advisable to burden the kids any further? What use is
Sudha,
going to be? Tell me, I know Tamil, so I'm working in English, right?
no, so the first point is definitely when it comes to teachers, there is no deficit because more number of supply of teacher is there, especially with Kannada B.Ed. There is no gap with that. Second thing, what you said, yes, even the provision is there as a 3 language for CBSE and ICSE. There is no issues with implementing the third one language because there is a choice to choose by the thing. Only the problem is why the Karnataka government has insisted within 2, that to first and second. If it was 3, there is already provision, and the opening from the board for conducting exam is also provision. There is no issues with that. Only the violation is happening between few schools who are not following because of their other type of input because they want a good admission and they play this card and get admission that anyhow we will manage with Kannada. This is a wrong marketing strategy in the society which has to be dealt very seriously by the education department.
No, thank
Can I
you.
offer a good point? Can I offer
Quickly,
can
Satya, I have to go to the second
can
story.
I
You are
offer a
my
good
guest
point?
in that story also. Quickly, Baba.
What I suggest is any student, even if there is a migration which is happening at class 1, 2, 3, there will not be problem because they will have 7 years to go with Kannada by the time the 10th exams come. I think major problem will be those students who are migrating in 9th or 10th standard. They come from, Orissa to in 10th standard to here. Those students might have some problem. I think, it should be a win-win situation. The courts can intervene. Government will always have will have a look at it. If for those students we can give some, respite, we can always do that. I think any student who come at second standard, third standard, fourth standard, 6 years is a big time to learn Kannada. And I don't think, we should promote that child to learn Kannada. Unity in diversity.
Do they want to is also a question which your government has to figure out.